I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, time for my, we're halfway through the year now, time for my best buys so far of 2024, because I like to do a couple of these every year. Some of the stuff that I'm buying for my clients, sometimes end users, principal residence buyers. I work with a lot of investors. Maybe some of the stuff that I've recently sold on the listing side that I thought, hey, it was a good home, buyer got a good price on it, good home. Or some of the, and the odd one that I'm not involved in at all, one that I just saw come across my desk this morning. So let's kick it off here with a couple of ones that I was representing the buyer on. And I'm not going to give you guys specifics on these. You guys know I've got probably in downtown Vancouver about 20 strata that are in my premier buy list in various price categories. Some stuff in Cole Harbour, Yaletown, some older stuff in the West End. For a lot of my investor clients right now, the sweet spot right now and what I'm trying to go after whenever I can is some high quality concrete units in the West End in older strata that are sitting on incredibly valuable pieces of property. Some of these have in-suite laundry. A lot of them are shared laundry, but they're sitting on massive, double-sized lots. You could put 2 or even 3 towers on these lots, which will probably happen in another 20 or 25 years down the road. So that's probably your exit strategy, will be a strata wind-up. But in the meantime, these are very well-run, older concrete strata, walk score of about 100 just off Denman Street. You'll have 10 applicants in the first couple of hours that you place your ad looking for a tenant. These, I'll give you an example of the 2 that I just bought last month. Paid $620 for the unit, it'll rent for $27.50. So these are some of the best cap rates ever, far better than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago pre-COVID. The only kicker is, of course, is the interest rates are a lot higher, but hey, those are now starting to come down. So you're going to get a double whammy on this here. High rents, record high rents, and interest rates or your borrowing costs starting to go down. But I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm not going to give you the buildings, and listen, don't ask me for the buildings in the comment section. And if you guys post the name of this building, I'm probably going to delete it because I don't want the competition. I've talked about this. I was picking these things off, been picking these off for 5 years now, and I think I've talked too much about them. I'm getting a lot more competition on these. Both of these, well, one of them I got at multiples on. The other one, it was just my offer. But give you examples here. The price per square foot. One was one in den with 2 parking spaces. I bought this for I'm going to back out one of the parking spaces just to keep it even here because it had 2 parking spaces worth about $35K. Purchase price on this was $1,045 a square foot. It was a concrete unit, concrete building. The unit had been nicely renovated about 7 or 8 years ago. Move-in ready, $1,045 a square foot. The other one I bought just down the street in another one of my preferred buildings. 1 bed, 1 bath, about 630 square feet, super nice outlook, quiet, 1 parking space, $1,049 a square foot. So I can guarantee to you guys with the state of the market right now that I've been talking about for many years, how nothing is getting built in downtown Vancouver. And anything that is coming online here in the future is going to be starting at $1,700 or $1,800 a square foot. It's going to be luxury up to well over $3,000 a square foot. $1,000 a square foot, which is we're buying these, just over $1,000 a square foot with concrete, parking, and the units are in pretty good order, move-in ready. One of them had just been rented, as I said, about 5 or 6 years ago. This is going to look pretty darn good 10 years from now, guys. I can guarantee it at buying at $1,000 a square foot. I think these will probably be selling it in 10 years from now, probably a good 30 to 40, 50% higher than what we purchase these at now. There's no guarantees, but if you just look at the simple economics of things, they're not building anything in downtown, very little. It's trickle-in supply, lack of a buildable land. Anything that is getting built, a lot of the stuff in the West End was scrapped and was going to be condo and now has been scrapped to market rental. Population continues to grow. City becomes more desirable every year. These 2 particular properties are sitting on very large parcels of land. You could put 2 towers on these properties and still have a lot of common area. So pretty good buys. One of them was an end user, the one with the 2 parking spaces I talked about and that had been renoed recently. The other one was an investor client of mine. So I was on the buy side there. This one will give you on the list side. So this is a large one bed, 1 bath that I just sold in Richmond. So this is a trustee sale. I've talked about this before. One of my best clients, they probably are my best client, is a trustee. And I've been fortunate enough, I've been their exclusive realtor coming up to 13 years now. So they trust me with all their sales. In a good year, I might sell 12 or 13, 14, 15 homes for this client. In a slow year, maybe 5 or 6. So how these work is they are an as-is, where-is sale. So there's no guarantee on the appliances working. They're not going to fix anything if you find any deficiencies. You're buying it as is. A lot of the times these units, not all the time, I sell detached homes for this trustee, townhomes, duplexes, and lots of condos. Sometimes they're beautiful. There can be newer condos or a newer townhouse. Or a renovated detached house that was renovated not long ago. In other cases, they can be a little bit more dilapidated. Maybe the strata is good, but the unit itself is original, 30, 35 years old, needs a full reno. So this one was a good strata on Minaroo Boulevard in Richmond. I know the strata because I've sold units in this strata before. It's a well-run strata. It's about 30 years old, but everything is in pretty good order. Roofs were replaced about 3 or 4 years ago. Balconies were upgraded. This particular unit was 750 square feet. Now, I have had the keys on this home for about 8 months now, which is not uncommon. Sometimes I'm holding keys for several years before we finally get probate and they give me the go-ahead to give them a CMA and list the home. So when they're ready to list, I give them a comparative market analysis and I give them a range of where we should price this. Generally, the trustee, they're good people to work with. There's no emotion here. They're very analytical. So I give them the CMA, a detailed CMA on what's recently sold in the building, what's currently listed, if anything, what's been sold recently in the neighborhood. And I give them a price range. Usually it's a $20,000 gap. We'll say I'll price it between $375 to $395. So we price it fairly aggressive. Generally, because it's an as-is, where-is sale, most of these are sold with subject-free offers. So, and because they've been holding this property in some cases for years, paying the property taxes, paying the maintenance fees, they want to get these sold. They don't want to overprice them. We want to price them correctly to get interest. And a lot of these will sell in multiple offers and usually subject-free. So this was no exception. Listed it for $389. I ended up with 11 offers on this home. Now, I should tell you, unit had a lot going for it. Top floor had the overheight vaulted ceilings with skylight, which is unique to the top floor. South exposure in the back of the building, so extremely quiet, looking into kind of a park-like setting. The unit, however, though, was pretty much original. It needed a full reno. Every buyer that looked at it was going to do a full reno on it. Long story short, I mean, this sold for almost $100,000 over ask, which surprised me. Sold for $480. Now, subject free. But the buyer on this unit still, in my opinion, got a fairly good value. They're going to probably put about another $40K into this. But again, this unit's large. It's just over 750 square feet. Top floor, vaulted ceilings, 1 parking. In probably the best location in the strata. Strata's in good order, nothing coming up. Depreciation report is pretty solid. So I think a good buy. This is something that, a first-time buyer here at $480K, probably your mortgage payments on this are probably not much more than what you're currently paying to rent a unit like this, a 1 in 10. And the moral here is, the hardest part of getting into home ownership is saving for that down payment and then getting qualified for the mortgage. But this is a really excellent starter level condo for a first-time buyer, even though they got into a bidding war and went, $90,000 over asking price. We had this priced pretty aggressively. But there's stuff out there that you don't have to get into an as-is, where-is sale. You might not even have to get into a bidding war on some stuff out there. But this is an excellent entry-level product. And in my opinion, worth the $480 that this buyer paid for it. Final one I'll give you here, I wasn't involved in, but I saw this one hit my Paragon, my MLS, a couple of days ago. I know the strata. So this is the Pacific by Grosvenor. I've had listings in there. I've got clients in that building right now. Pretty good buy here. So this is a unit on the 33rd floor, 1,045 square feet. So 1,045, 2 bed, 2 bath with parking, high floor. Listed for $529. Sold obviously in multiple offers after 10 days, sold for 1.6. So it sold for $70,000 over ask for $1.6 million. Now listen, I think, and also this is a 3-year-old strata, luxury strata on Pacific. I know the strata, it's a really nice building. I mean, the finishings are incredible. Really nice air conditioning, concierge, beautiful gym, beautiful podium level with a billiards room and an outdoor seating area with fire pits and gazebos. 3 years old, still under warranty, no GST on this. So this unit was never on the MLS, but I can tell you this was sold by the developer. What happened here was this building completed in 2021 and the market was not great. This completed during the height of COVID pretty much. So the developer, of course, they always hold back units. They had about 25 or 30 units that they held back. They also had some units that did not complete because of COVID issues. I did a blog on this. These people were waiting, had bought a unit, were waiting for their principal PR status, and COVID put a kibosh in that. They thought they would have it by the time this building was complete in 2021, but they didn't and walked away from the contract. But long story short, they tried to sell this one. It wasn't on the MLS, but it was on the developer's sell list because I had bought a unit around this time for a client. The unit we had was not on the MLS, but it was on a reserve list. They tried to sell it but could not get their price at that time. So what they did is they rented it. So this unit has been rented for the last couple of years. So there's no GST, and they point that out here on the listing, that it's being sold by the developer, but it has been rented for the last couple of years. So it's GST exempt. It's been paid. Remember, I've told you guys about the double dipping on the GST. If you sell a unit within a year, or it's never been occupied, it's been vacant for the last year or 2 years, there's another set of GST. This one's exempt. But in my opinion, a good deal. $1.6 million, 33rd floor for 1,050 square feet in a very nice strata, luxury strata, still under warranty. This unit's tax assessed at $2 million. So I think a pretty good deal for a new strata, luxury strata, high floor. It's got about a 70 or 80 square foot balcony, which isn't included in this square footage. So a pretty good deal. Move-in ready, vacant, staged, ready to go. So those are the first kind of some, what I think to be good value here in the first part of 2024. I'm expecting there'll be some other good ones later this summer. Market kind of slows. It can be a good time to be a buyer in the summer months. The problem is, though, there's just not a lot of inventory and not a lot of stuff gets listed. But I'm hoping to have a couple of good older West End units come up here that I can snap up. I've got end users and investors in my Rolodex ready to go if the right unit comes up. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.